What's up, guys and gals, and welcome to Veve Vibes, where I love talking all things Veve NFTs, speculation, and of course the market. So you guys really seem to like my last tier list video. I still forgot to put up that tier list so other content creators and people can kind of vote on their favorite groups and like brands that are on Veve right now. This one's going to be a bit quicker because we're just talking about the golden moments. I'll do my best to at least try and show some of the charts on ecomi.wiki of like their current price points and how well they've done. Pretty much across the board, all the golden moments have done an extremely good job of retaining their value and not hard dipping like every other NFT on the market during this gem squeeze. So I mostly wanted to do this video because, again, tier list videos are a lot of fun. You guys seem to enjoy them. But on top of that, there's a lot of talk about golden moments, about potentially golden moments like 2.0 might come out. There could be some silver moments that come out. I'm not entirely sure. But I do think there's something big coming up around the corner, either via Disney, Marvel, whatever they kind of have planned. Andrew Ellis did a video. I know Dino did a video. And I'm pretty sure a couple other content creators have done videos on the golden moments and how well they're doing or gonna do in the near future. And it's only a matter of time before they just explode once the market rebounds. So we'll go ahead and get started. I will say the ones that are ordered down here are in no particular order. I know my screen, or I should say my camera's covering part of it, but that's fine. S tier is just, in my opinion, I might have to make its own video, but S tier is, in my opinion, a grail. And then A tier is a blue chip, where it's just a very, very solid investment. Usually S tier for a lot of people are just like, it's just out of the price range at this point, but it is very, very good. And again, this list is not just organized by like, oh, this is the most expensive, so it's the best, and like whatever's the cheapest is going to be the lowest. I go based off of their IP, their potential, the popularity, just obviously my personal opinion. Like I could vote some things pretty low and you guys might think something different. And if that is the case, I would love to see it down in the comments below. But my mind has changed quite a bit about the golden moments. So even my tier list between them has actually changed over this last month or two, especially since especially some of the Star Wars NFTs, the golden moments I should say, have done really, really well. So we'll go ahead and start off with this one. Avengers logo. Not the biggest fan of this one. This is probably the only one I actually just kind of queued up ahead of time. I will say it has done, just like every other golden moment, a very good job of retaining its value. It actually popped off above 2K for a moment. Now it is going back to 1.8K. And I will admit, I did take Randy Chavez's just ideology, and I think it makes a ton of sense that people are more interested in characters and people and those kind of things over logos, items, just things, you know? So as much as I love the Avengers logo, I do think it's probably one of the weakest NFTs on the platform. So in my personal opinion, it's still a golden moment at the end of the day. Like, even though I'm putting it down here in C tier, it doesn't mean it's just as bad as other C tiers and other brands. Obviously, they're all just a correlation of each other within that kind of IP, I should say, within this group of golden moments. So in my opinion, all the golden moments are millionaires. It's just, this one is just very, very low, 7 figures, but you know, B tier might be 8 figures, this is 9 figures, and the S tiers are just billionaires. So it's like, they're all amazing. And I think for the golden moments, for the most part, it's just pretty much going to be restricted to kind of like your price point and entry point. But I still think Avengers logo is still good, but it's not the best one on the list in my personal opinion. Next one is C3PO. So I don't want to talk about the other Star Wars one right now. I do think this one is very, very solid. I do think this one is trying to catch up to R2-D2 right now, which basically tripled in price about a month and a half ago. We'll go ahead and look at that chart here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and pull up C3PO. It actually broke the 4K mark not too long ago. I had one of my friends purchase this, and so he's pretty ecstatic about the purchase. And so it's you know, receding back down, but like during this basically this gem squeeze over this last week and a half, it's actually gone up right now. Some people are taking profits potentially for the next drop or whatever's happening, but overall it's gone up over the last week and a half or so. So I want to put for now C3PO in A tier. And again, I'm going to try my best to put these NFTs from top to bottom best and then left to right best. So the one that's furthest on the left in A tier, I would consider is the better one for the most part. Next is Elsa. Man, this one is really, really tough. I do think there are some catalysts in place that could just make her explode. If we do get the right people on the platform, I do think she'll do extremely well. In my opinion, I think I will put her she is at the highest point of A tier, in my opinion. I think if we get the right people on the app, I think she is basically like the next nominee to be a grail. in my personal opinion. So we'll go ahead and pull her up. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the fact that she is absolutely the most successful Disney princess, the first Disney princess, the most successful Disney princess that Disney has ever had. You know for a fact that Disney's going to be pushing her IP, her image, her product, movies, shows, like as much as they can, memorabilia. They're going to be pushing basically Elsa to the max. And so for the most part, she's done pretty well. She's actually peaked at 4,200 at one point. And even though right now she's cheaper than C-3PO, I do think she could definitely pull an R2-D2 at one point. I know I'm saying R2-D2 a lot. I'll get to him, or I guess the machine in a bit. I don't know if it's boy or girl, doesn't matter. But yeah, like Elsa, I think in my opinion is going to do amazing things, and people are sleeping on her currently, because I honestly think given enough time, she could be probably like the number 3 golden moment of all time of the entire group. Even though she right now, price wise, she's positioned like number 5. I do think she could do much better than kind of what the golden moments are showing right now. Sorcerer's Hat is the next one. Now this one, I would say a while ago, I would have put at number 2. Like I would say about a month ago, I would have put Sorcerer's Hat at number 2, and I still think it's very good. It's honestly, I would put it slightly above C-3PO, because there are so many Disney and Mickey purists out there, and especially if we get anything Fantasia related when it comes to that new like Mickey series. You know, even though we got Steamboat Willie, it sounds like that's gonna be a Mickey series, so we're gonna get a bunch of different iterations of Mickey, including the Fantasia version, which I think is very popular. And anyone that is a Disney or Mickey purist, they're gonna have to have the Mickey hat. And if you guys have watched Fantasia, Mickey hat in its own way, it's kind of a character. I know it's a thing, it's a hat, but it was kind of running through all the previous Disney movies and all that stuff, so it's kind of its own character with its own personality and stuff. So again, it's done an amazing job of retaining its value at about 4,600 right now. It's dipped down a bit, but like this thing had an all-time high of about $7,000, which is only third to C-3PO right now. It, you know, goes Walt and R2-D2 and Mickey hat. So I think Mickey hat has a ton of potential too. I think it's going to be neck and neck with Elsa. It's going to really depend on which people get on the platform, but in my honest opinion, I think Elsa is going to outperform it just by a little bit in like the mid to long term for Sorcerer's Hat. So I'm kind of curious how that plays out. So right now I'm putting basically Mickey's hat at very high A tier. Next we have Homer and Bart. I will admit I'm pretty hesitant to give just The Simpsons in general a high rating. Like, it's a golden moment, it's Disney, but at the end of the day, I don't think when people think Disney, they're not thinking The Simpsons. Like, I'll be honest, I watched Simpsons for a long time when I was a kid. I probably watched easily hundreds and hundreds of episodes. I could think of a lot of great episodes and memories from watching The Simpsons, but I'm probably gonna put it in B tier. You know, right now I believe it is about $2,000, which I think is actually fairly priced. It's hovering about 1,800 to $2,000 right now. It's a cool looking NFT, don't get me wrong, but I know there's some talk about it being potentially made by Todd McFarlane and all that stuff. But again, I'm kind of under the impression, like, if you have to go out of your way to explain an NFT and why it's relevant to someone, you've already lost. There's already people on the platform that are looking for Mickey, looking for Elsa, looking for Star Wars. They're not going to look at Homer and Bart and be like, all right, I guess it's made by Todd McFarlane, so I guess I'll just drop $2,000 on this NFT. Like, it's very unlikely. Again, it seems a little bit out of place. I do think it'll do better than the logo, because it is in a way a double FA of Homer and Bart. Some people joke around that it's the first battle statue before Batman and Killer Croc, which I thought was pretty funny. But again, I still don't think it's like the best NFT on the platform. Like, in my personal opinion, if you can afford the extra 500 gems, I would just get Iron Man. And as for Iron Man, I would probably put him, gosh, he's going to be hovering around C-3PO. I'd probably put him just below C-3PO. For right now, I do think it has like major upside potential. I think Elsa and Iron Man, percentage-wise, like gem for gem, are gonna have the biggest increase of any of the golden moments when the next price hike happens, or like when the next pump happens. You know, obviously C-3PO and the Sorcerer's Hat are quite a bit expensive. They're a little bit closer to you know, $4.5, $5,000, something like that. But like gem for gem, I do think Elsa and Iron Man are gonna have the biggest pumps here in the near future, because it's FA Iron Man. I would of course like to see the red and yellow suit, or I should say the red and gold suit, and have all the different suits and iterations of him and stuff like that. But you know, it's a golden moment at the end of the day, and a lot of people love Iron Man. Like me personally, I prefer Iron Man over Batman. I'm talking like the actual like comic book movie story version, right? Not like the NFT versions. So Iron Man right now is actually dipped below 2,500 a bit, but he did have an all-time high of about 3,200, and not too bad. And again, almost touching $3,000 basically during the gem squeeze, which is kind of just boggles my mind, where he's actually having almost reaching his all-time high again. So there's a lot of activity here. Marvel's a huge IP, and basically the very first golden moment like Marvel iteration is Iron Man. So like I said, right now Iron Man for 2,500 gems. I think gem for gem, he's gonna have the biggest increase alongside Elsa. That's just gonna blow people's minds. Next one is Pizza Planet truck. I would have to put this actually at B tier, but above Homer and Bart. So even though I believe the Pizza Planet truck, they're basically the same price. I think there was a period of time where Pizza Planet truck was actually cheaper than Homer and Bart. I mean, these NFTs, I mean, the golden moments have been just going to be doing a plus or minus 200 gems above a certain price. They're basically not doing a Superman or some of the other NFTs where they basically just crash down 20, 30, 40, even 50% on certain NFTs have just crashed down. Like even a lot of the Marvels, a lot of the Disney stuff, like they're crashing really hard, but the golden moments have been just really retaining their value. And again, like sometimes reaching, not their all-time high, but like getting up there and actually retaining their value. In the Disney community, like Pizza Planet truck, especially with Disney or like Pixar in general, like it's actually a very big like Easter egg, and quite a few people know about it. And I do think if we get the right collectors or like the right people on the platform that kind of understand this, I do think Pizza Planet truck could actually do very, very well. I just think it has more upside potential than Homer and Bart, in my personal opinion. And I think it's actually a pretty cool looking NFT, in my opinion. So I'll put the Pizza Planet truck right there. It's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think it's a huge thing. Next thing is R2D2, and I've been saying this for a while now. I was like, I think R2D2 is like the #1 nominee, being a Grail. And I think at this point has actually gotten itself into Grail status. It is, Star Wars is definitely one of the IPs that could just rival Disney head to head. A lot of people ask like, oh, should I get R2D2 or this other like big, R2D2 or Steamboat Willie? I'm like, dude, that's a big head to head. Like it's basically, would you rather have the first iteration, like basically the FA of R2D2 or the FA of Mickey, like in real life, as well as like the ultra rare Steamboat Willie kind of thing. So yeah, I think R2D2 has, it's shot up in price. It's retained its value. If anything, it's actually kind of gone up a bit. Right now it's down a bit, obviously because of the gem squeeze, but it just tripled in price. And it's only gone up. Even when Todd did a move like this, it started receding down, and it would probably be around somewhere like 7K right now, like low 7K, maybe high like 6.9. But R2D2 has done some amazing things, and I think it just took people a while to realize like, wow, Star Wars is a huge franchise. I mean, Disney's already built entire parks, and just like half their parks are just designed around Star Wars because they just realized how big and important that IP is. I mean, it's one of the biggest IPs in the world other than Disney itself. So I think R2D2 at this point, I think it's earned the title of Grail, in my personal opinion. It's the FA Star Wars. It's one of the most beloved characters in the franchise of Star Wars. It's appeared in every movie. So I think that alone would put it in Grail in category. All right, next one is Skateboard. I think I got to put this at the lowest rank, in my personal opinion. Again, like this is even further removed. Like some people might not even realize this is Bart's skateboard. I mean, it has like the Bart skull on it and everything like that, but it just seems just too far removed from like the original Disney. And honestly, I think there's going to be Disney fans that are going to want the whole golden moment set if they can afford it, of course, or maybe everything but Walt. But they might just say like, all right, I guess I have to buy the skateboard just because I have to for the set or whatever it is. But it just seems too far removed from like the actual Disney, in my personal opinion. I know some of these Homer and Bart stuff, like they were the first series, they were the first set of golden moments release and all that stuff. Like I get that, but I think we're getting to the point now where, you know, obviously FAs are a huge deal, but popularity in some ways kind of trumps that. And if it goes popularity, then FA, then mint numbers, then kind of everything else after that, then kind of like little Easter eggs about the pen and the signatures and all that stuff. I think that's kind of the last thing a lot of people think about. It's kind of hard to think that like people are just going to drop $2,000 or $3,000 on a, you know, golden moment just because it has a signature on it or something like that. It's cool, but it's like, I'd rather just have something that's more significant or more popular that people are gonna know and understand and recognize. So Skateboard just happens to be the cheapest on the app, and I think it's no surprise why it reflects that. It's like I'm not trying to order these in just a price order, as you saw. Like I put Elsa like above Mickey hat as well as C-3PO, in my personal opinion. So it's not just based on price, but it's just upside potential. But in my personal opinion, with Skateboard, like there's just not much to say. It's just kind of a thing. It just seems very far removed, in my opinion. So yeah, so it's going to be at the bottom. Again, it's not a surprise that there's a thing and a logo at the bottom of the list. That's just me. Wally. I think Wally's got some very serious potential. I would actually put Wally gosh, it's going to be a tie between these two. Like, the only reason why I would actually put it above the Pizza Planet truck is that it's a character. And even though maybe not everyone knows about the Pizza Planet truck thing, like a lot of people know Wally. So I do think a ton of people are sleeping on Wally right now. I do think it's also one of those NFTs that could do very, very well, like gem for gem. I mean, right now, I believe it's like 1,400 or so. Let's go ahead and pull that up. There's Wally, it's like 1,300 gems right now, which seems like an absolute steal. So I will admit that this guy's gotten beat up quite a bit in the market. He has been pushed down almost to the point of, yeah, like sub 1,200 gems just briefly. But I think a lot of people have considered him to be the weakest or kind of like the lowest tier NFT on the platform. But I think Wally could do some pretty good things. Some people might think I'm crazy for putting Wally above Homer and Bart, but I think long term, I mean, Wally has been in Disney movies, but Homer and Bart hasn't. Like that's one of the main reasons too as well. And if they keep continuing with more Wally related memorabilia, that kind of stuff, and that's another thing too. I think Disney is just more likely to push stuff like Wally than The Simpsons, like in their theme parks, movies, future entertainment mediums, things like that. So yeah. So now we get to the creme de la creme, the crown jewel, which is Walt. And obviously he's going to be at the highest point of S tier. In my personal opinion, I could definitely see a world where Walt actually flips Secret Rare Spider-Man. And the main thought I have about that is because the Disney NFTs just in general are doing amazing across the board. The Steamboat Willies, the lenticular cards, the golden moments, and if we do any other iterations, they're going to do amazingly well. And I could definitely see Walt flipping Secret Rare Spider-Man, even though it has an extra 3,333 mints over Spider-Man. We're going to get dozens and dozens and dozens of Spider-Mans at the end of the day. But I could definitely see Disney. They protect the image and just the name and the brand of Walt Disney, like the actual image of Walt, very, very aggressively. And just the fact they did this, I think, caught now really understanding how big the IP and how big Disney is. It's pretty surprising that actually Disney let Veve show the image of Walt. And as far as I understand, he's the only actual like real life human on the platform, like as an NFT. Everyone else are characters and cartoons and the stuff like that. Like I just don't see Veve legitimately ever showing Walt ever again. I think they said early on, like, hey, we're going to show Walt once, part of this golden moment set, and that's it forever. Like, we're not showing him again. And it's a double FA of Walt as well as Mickey. And so they're going to show Mickey a bunch of more times and Minnie and a bunch of other Disney characters. But I legitimately think Walt's a one and done. And they're going to keep pushing Marvel and Spider-Man and all that stuff. But I think this is it for Walt. And I think if they're going to add, and if Disney is going to add any kind of utility, they're more likely to do it, in my opinion, for the Disney characters and like the Disney Direct, you know, like Wally and Elsa and you know, the Mickey hat, and same thing with Walt and stuff like that. If they're gonna add any kind of utility, I think it would be more in line with those, but who knows? There could be a Club 33 utility with the partner statue, because at this point it costs more than Club 33. I think Club 33 actually just costs 33 grand and a waiting list in order to get in, but like now partner statue costs more than that. So now we've gotten to that point. As well. So Walt is just, I just don't think people realize how big of a deal it is. And I think given enough time, outside of a few handful of mints, I think Walt will probably be long-term, probably the most expensive NFT on the platform, given enough time, given the right people on the app. And it wouldn't surprise me at all whatsoever. Maybe the only thing that might I press like the floor is just some low mint Todds or this and that. But if someone does have some like low mint Walt Disneys, I do think those are going to be the most expensive NFTs on the app. So yeah, this is my tier list. I wouldn't change anything about it, honestly, from left to right. I think just the highest potential that some of these NFTs had. And I do think the price fluctuations will go, you know, shift between the two for the most part. But in my opinion, as of right now, gem for gem, if you guys aren't sure about like which golden moments to get, and if you guys want a good discount, I would say Elsa, Iron Man, and Wally. I mean, this is 3,500, that's 2,500, and that's 1,500. So, you know, there's 1,000 gem breakpoints. If you get any one of those three, I do think those three NFTs are going to give you the highest rate on your return, gem for gem, next pump with the golden moments, in my personal opinion. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the tier list. If you guys agree, let me know. I'm also going to try to remember to put the actual tier list like link either in the comments or the description, so you guys can fill it out yourself. And then that way we can actually look at the community ranking, and when we click on that, it's going to show the average of where everyone put their NFTs personally. So again, I'm going to put a poo emoji because people might actually poo on my tier list, and that's completely fine. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion down below. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys take care, and catch you on the flip side.